Welcome to Lich Please, the ultimate interplanar interview for all things D&D, where we interview your favorite creatures and characters, and the fourth wall doesn't exist. My name's Phil Terry, the Lich in Residence, and I am happy to announce my first guest and future co-host for the show, Ray Leno. Ray, introduce yourself, talk a bit about yourself, and then we'll get into why we're starting this crazy show in the first place.
Hi, my name's Ray Leno. I'm a beholder, just like you just heard Phil say. That's about it. I kind of, do a bunch of different things, but right now my focus is on trying to help out with this talk show. That's about it. Nice to be here.
And I certainly appreciate having you here, Ray. You see, we've been friends for quite some time. We actually met back in college. Funny story. It's quite interesting when your diviner wizard of a sister brings home a beholder as her first boyfriend, but
It is interesting. Your sister was a bit crazy. So
necromancer and a diviner. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but having a necromancer and a diviner in the family, and she was the crazy one. That said, we met because...
No, she did weird things. I didn't enjoy it.
Please, I really, really don't need to know. Now, we wound up getting pretty close through our college years, and we wound up sort of having a bit of an idea for this talk show together when I mentioned that, well, I'm a bit of a fan of famous creatures from across the multiverse, and being a beholder, Ray knows a bit about being iconic, so to speak. And
I see what you did there. Iconic. Thanks. Not like I've heard that one before.
Well, I could have made a beauties in the eye of the beholder joke, but it would have been a bit shoehorned.
Yep.
Now,
I think that's what people are gonna get a lot with this thing is lots of eye puns.
Well, they're just going to have to wait and see now, won't they? Now that you know how we know each other, I think it's a bit time we start talking a bit about the show. Mainly, I wanted to use this as a platform to get to know some of my favorite celebrity creatures, the top-tier two-menders, so to speak. So I gathered Ray and the rest of the cast and crew here with the goal of making a talk show that would help the public get to know the wide range of creatures throughout the multiverse. In terms of some of our cast, please let me introduce Ray, as you already know, myself,
Hi.
Terry, and our eponymous Kenku sound guy. Give him a round of applause. Yes, calm down. He has a name, but he hasn't quite been able to tell us yet.
For those of you who don't know, the Kenku just made the clapping sound for himself. That's what he does. That's what he does here. That's his job. He makes sounds.
We'll do a creature feature later on and talk a bit about Kenku in general and why they have a bit of trouble expressing themselves, so to speak.
It's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate story.
It truly is, but nowhere near as unfortunate as the story of how I became a talk show host. Ray, you are very part and parcel to this yourself. You actually assisted me in becoming a lich as well.
Indeed. I found some of the pieces to put together your phylactery for you.
Yes.
While I was between jobs. That's what Ray hired me for.
Now,
Phil
I do
hired me
really
for it,
have to ask, Ray, what were you doing before this job?
As you know, I was going to college to try and become an optician. Being a beholder, I do have some minor obsession with eyes, so I was, trying to give back to the community to try and help them with their eyesight since, I have 11 eyes. It's very easy for me to see many things. And, some people don't have they're not fortunate enough to have 11 eyes. So I just wanted to be an optician to try and help people. Didn't work out so well. I was doing laser eye surgery once, used the death ray instead of one of the other ones. That didn't turn out so well. Got fired.
Right, I heard about that.
So, yeah, that was not the best. Wasn't one of my greatest moments. No.
Did they ever find a cleric to help that one? I can't remember.
The poor guy died. He was gone.
It was all over the news. People still talk about it when they come to the Yawning Portal.
Actually, the reason they couldn't bring him back is because when, I was doing the whole thing, I kind of panicked and then shot him with the disintegration ray too, and then he just, turned to ash. So,
Right, right. I
That
almost don't
was
believe it. But
that was not fun.
the risks of working with a beholder, that's why we thought it might be good to go into business together, you see. I've always wanted to get to know some of my favorite celebrities. Dragons, other liches. My cousin's a Serarak, the famous lich at the end of the Tomb of Annihilation. Now, that said,
No, I don't
he.
like him at all. Don't like
Well,
him.
hold off, we may need to have him on as a guest at some point, but that said, I was a bit of a late bloomer as a necromancer, so to speak, so I wound up needing to very quickly put together my phylactery after a particularly failed job working as a gravedigger. They didn't appreciate the fact that the graves would wind up digging themselves back up again, apparently.
Yeah,
So,
no, I can see where that would be a problem.
well, I mean, it's certainly not as bad as a beholder trying to be an optician, now is it?
Actually, I was very good at my job until I accidentally killed somebody. So, you know, that was
Exactly. All of my patients were already dead.
okay. That's fair. That's a fair point.
However, that led me to wanting to at least meddle with resurrecting some well known creatures from across the multiverse and having them come through the Yawning Portal where we're recording, thanks to the owner. And
It's a very nice tavern. You know,
it truly is a little bit noisy, but that's just because of all the traffic it gets.
yeah, on occasion it can be pretty rowdy down there. Um,
So many adventurers coming through. Beyond that, there's also quite a few interesting characters that make their way through the Yawning Portal. Heroes and villains alike, whom we will often be pulling in for interviews between their misadventures, so to speak.
yeah, it's basically the best place to be host a talk show because there's so many people coming through trying to go on different adventures and interplaying the travel and that kind of thing. So it's a very good place to have a talk show. Like I said,
Exactly. We've been quite fortunate to obtain the Yawning Portal as our first and currently only sponsor, and they've been kind enough to lend us a room for recording purposes as well. Now, I do
oh,
believe that's about all we have for tonight. Thanks for listening to this, our inaugural episode. Again, we'd like to thank our sponsor, the Yawning Portal, for allowing us to record above their tavern. Besides that, we'd like to welcome you back for future episodes. Well, we have to get going. Seems like there might be a fight brewing between two gnomes and a dragonborn, and I really don't want to
uh,
miss that.
I can't wait to see this.
Wait, are they riding? Is one of them on each other's? We need to go. I think the
Oh
gnome's are
my
wearing a
gosh,
trench
this is
coat.
the best thing ever.
It's Folks, we can't describe this well enough. It's two gnomes stacked on each other's shoulders wearing a trench coat. It's hilarious. Anyways, we'll tell you the rest of the story later. Please do join us next week. Ta-ta, see you then.